what's going on, everybody? This is Busy Book Review. It's been a minute. It's been like a month, 2 months. It's been like forever. The past couple of months have been hard, ups and downs. So I try to catch up on my reading. It's been a lot. I rented a bunch of new books that I'm gonna try to hit soon. I got Pimp that I'm gonna review. I just finished reading Russian Roulette. Yes. I'm thinking about picking up John Meacham's new book, The Soul of America. I think that's what it's called. Comey's book. Okay. I still have Hillary's book in the wait. Yes. I got like a lot going on that I'm gonna try to read and try to get focused. But today we're doing 2 books. First is Rubicon. Rubicon. Question is, what is a Rubicon?
I really want to know, what is this even about?
Rubicon is actually a river in Rome.
Okay, so what was the purpose of the book? What is this? What am I getting from this book if I read it?
If you read the book, you're talking about the rise, literally, the last years of the Roman Republic. So the rise from Sulla to the end is the first ruler to the last. It just gives you a good overall history. I appreciated this book more than I thought I would. Okay. Because considering I still want to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. Yeah. Even though I'm going to be an environmental lawyer, I'm going to be a lawyer. But the one thing I can say about this book, if you do not know the history of the world and history of other governments, I don't think you can understand your history as a country.
Facts. So what was your biggest takeaways top 3 takeaways from that book? Go.
That I learned what a senator was. The definition of a senator.
Okay. Yes.
An individual of old, wise wisdom. A person that has been through things in their life of middle age that can express the needs of the people.
Oh, I like that.
I learned how they campaigned in Rome. How Julius Caesar was a debtor. And he was in so much debt that he could have been in jail, but he had the plebs and his people behind him that raised the money and put him in office. Okay. I learned that we are still technically more like a republic than a democracy than anybody wants to acknowledge.
Oh, why do you say that?
Because Rome had #1 citizens.
Okay.
Julius Caesar was a #1 citizen. Okay. Octavian was like, the rulers were considered #1 citizens. Right. They was inherited titles that they did. But we have a #1 citizen here that represents all of us. Okay. The POTUS. Okay. He's technically the #1 citizen, in my view, because he's the one person that other countries have to listen to and acknowledge when he comes. He's a statement. Unfortunately, for this representation,
for this one,
I don't know the number of this guy. I'm just waiting on number 46. I'm gonna just skip to 46.
Oh, yeah.
So 44.
We don't have a
46. So that's exactly where I'm going with this. But Rubicon is a history of a republic and a democracy and why we are governed a certain way. And if you don't understand how we governed in the past, you won't understand the governments of the future. People nowadays forgot what it means to be a country. We forgot what it meant to be together. This was one of the greatest dynasties of all time, and it failed because of infighting, politics, too much politics, and the downfall of its society. So if this can fall, if a country like this can fall, that had the biggest military that conquered the world, they did what Britain did. They were bigger, they were better at it. Mm-hmm. They salted Carthage. You know what I'm saying? You know what Rome did, and Rome is gone.
So that's definitely a recommend. You recommend that book?
This is Tom Holland. Like, read it. I'm actually reading this other one, The Rise and Fall of the House of Julius Caesar.
Okay, let's not get into that. Before we get into that,
throwing it back.
Book number 2.
Book number 2 is George Washington's farewell speech.
Oh, how was that?
I liked it.
All right.
This is from Penguin House Publishing. This is really good. I liked it.
3 points from that one.
3 points. If you remember the last books we did Trump Revealed,
right,
Insane Clown Presidency.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted us to end with a president that we don't truly understand and undervalue for the little things that was put in place. Yes, he owned slaves. I'm not going to deny that. He did a lot of fucked up ass things. Yes. They all did. Let's get that straight. Every president was fucked up. Name me a perfect president, and that's a lie. But the one thing about this book, I think we forgot as a people. We forgot that we were Washingtonists before we were Lincolnists, before we were Kennedy-ist, Nixonist, Reaganist. We forgot the president that we followed to get us here.
Facts.
George Washington, after every position he held for the government, for the people of the United States of America, he resigned. he wrote a letter explaining why he resigned, and why his resignation was so important to the people. George Washington's farewell speech is a speech that's supposed to be read in front of Congress and the Senate every year, as a reminder of the things we need to do as a people. He talks about getting involved in other countries' wars. He talks about the inherent sin of our country before Lincoln. He talked about the most vile sin that this country had was slavery, and how we were supposed to get out of it, and what we were supposed to do, and the fact that he couldn't justify letting us free at his time. He said because the country would not be able to sustain itself if he had did that. He said that.
Sound deep.
He put money in education. He put money everywhere. He told us that we should not be a country of debtors. Do not run a country in debt. Republicans put us in debt. He was not a Republican. He was not a Democrat. He was not a Whig. He was the only independent president. You can never say you're an independent-minded president if you claim a party. This president is the only president that has not claimed a party. People forget, Lincoln was the first Republican. He is the only independent.
Damn, I might pick that up. So you definitely recommend this book, huh?
Right. Read his farewell speeches. The speech is at the end of the book. The speech is long. But the speech is long. It's long. But it talks about the story. This talks about how he went about writing the speech. He was on his deathbed. How he thought his story had to be told. How France got this and read this. How other countries found his letter and read it religiously, and how they respect his teachings because he talks about everything. I love how we get this one individual that stands in front of everybody and say, "You didn't know that Lincoln was a Republican that freed the slaves." Yes, a lot of the world know these things because a lot of the world reads. A lot of the world knows history. A lot of the world knows American history better than the person that's sitting in the POTUS. But this book, if you have not, just read his farewell speech. Listen to what he says about economics, governing, and leading a country. He talked about who we were supposed to be before we were supposed to be it. He had an image of what America should be, not what it is now. Say what you want to say about all of the founding fathers. They were, some of them are trash. Thomas Jefferson, he had his high points. What's the other one that we don't particularly care for? What's it? Thomas Jefferson. Wasn't it?
I pretty much don't acknowledge any of them but Obama personally. But you know, they serve their purpose.
They serve their purpose. We didn't agree with them, but if you look at the negatives that they did and the positives that they tried to outcome, it was betterment for the people. People forget these were young people when they founded this country. They were in their 20s and their 30s. They governed us as young individuals, and we forgot who we were. All of America's sins, from the internment camps were Japanese, slavery, indebted racism, Charlottesville, yesterday, Waffle House, Starbucks, name something. We forgot who we were as a people. We are so clan-based and tribal-based that we forgot that this is a country, and the country has to come together and fight.
Okay.
When the leadership has failed us,
we gotta come together.
These governments, these people in these books fought against what they wanted. If they didn't like a senator, they got him out. One way or another. So it wasn't that we're going to cry and we're going to get your vote back. No. If you didn't do what the players wanted, or your section, you were out.
You need to get back
if we didn't follow guidance of our moral compass, we were lost.
So you think that was a good wrap-up of your president? So is this the official, as far as your book reviews go?
The wrap-up of the presidents?
That's the wrap-up of
I don't know. Like, if he doesn't do anything more stupid that I have to read about and be like, all right, let's go back to this idiot. But, like, Russian roulette.
Okay. So what's
the steel dossier was hilarious.
What's the next one?
I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to go. Might go sciencey. I got a couple of Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson books I can go. Thinking about numbers.
Can't wait.
Go science. Let's go to space.
Can't wait.
Let's occupy Mars.
Okay, well, until next time then.
I'll see you guys later. Subscribe, hit the button, hit likes. This is a long video. Like,
it is. This is probably the longest one we've ever done.
Minutes. Like, it's long.
This is long.
All right, guys. We got to go back to work.